Oh, hey, in my Bible study class, we're going through the book of Acts. And at the end of Acts chapter 5, there is a scene where a gentleman named Gamaliel stands up and he counsels the other religious leaders of that time to ignore or to leave alone the apostles. The apostles were followers of Jesus who were going around and they were preaching and teaching in the name of Jesus, and they were teaching about the resurrection, which was offending some of the religious leaders. And so Gamaliel stands up and he says, hey, just leave them alone, because we've seen this before. Other insurrectionists, when they would rise up, then when their leaders got killed, their men would disperse. And he mentioned two. He mentioned a guy named Theodas, and we don't know anything about Theodas other than what Gamaliel said, that there was 400 people who followed him. And when Theodas died, then his men dispersed. But the other person he mentioned was a guy named Judas. And we do know that there were some insurrectionists led by a guy named Judas, a couple of them, in fact. But probably the latest one, around 6 AD, was led by a guy named Judas. And when he died, his men didn't necessarily disperse the way Gamaliel implied. But they formed a legal party, and they became representative in, or not a legal party, I'm sorry, a political party, and they became a voice in Jerusalem. And the name of their political party, they called themselves the Zealots. Now, I know that you know that word, and you've heard that word. If you've read the Gospels, the Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John, then you know that one of the disciples, one of the apostles that followed Jesus, was a guy named Simon the Zealot. So Zealot is a political party in Jerusalem, and at least one of the guys who followed Jesus was a member of that party that originated out of an earlier insurrection around the same time, just a few years after Jesus' birth. And so, if you didn't know, well, now you do.